I think not-for-profits really have to be careful about managing crises because reputation is so important these days. Social media, you want to make sure that your reputation is maintained, and so you want to make sure that you handle things professionally, smoothly, and not do any more damage than necessary to your reputation going forward.
I have sat on several boards and have been through different crises in those situations. One example is a human resources problem that arose in the organization. It was one that was potentially very damaging in terms of publicity, and it was a big concern, obviously, to make sure that we made the right decisions and made the right moves. During a crisis, the board of directors is going to be on deck like it's never been on deck before. The board's job at a time like that is to gather facts, get resources in to help, support staff, and then make timely decisions. Boards always have diverse people sitting around the table, and there were others who'd been through similar issues in their professional lives. I also took a lot of comfort from having experts who were called in to help us. I think for me that was really important. We all lost a lot of sleep about the issue, but at least we knew we had the right people in line to help us make the best of a very bad situation. Bad things happen in all organizations. It doesn't matter how robust procedures, controls, finances are in an organization, these things can happen. But having somebody to come in and help the organization weather the storm is very key. Having your name in the newspaper for a bad reason is not something that is ever wanted by any organization, but if it's going to happen, you want to make sure the story is getting out in the factually correct way.
Biggest challenge I've faced on a board happened several years ago. It was an organization that served street youth. It was one of my very first board experiences. At that point, I became chair of the board. Then about 3 days after Christmas, the building that our organization was housed in was destroyed by fire, by arson. Here I was, surrounded by media and surrounded by police, all of those types of things. So it was a real education in crisis management. I found money to be the most helpful tool in a crisis. But beyond that, connections within the community and establishing connections either with government, local officials, donors, making more and more connections and widening your network. It was the biggest tool I used to help rebuild our facility. It is important for a board to understand their risks and the risks that the organization face. And from a governance perspective, it is the board's role to ensure that they've assessed risk, understand what the risks that the organization face are, and what are the strategies that they're going to utilize should those risks be transformed into a crisis. You can still plan for the unknown if you've identified the key risks.
The role of crisis management is integral to the success of the organization. There will always be challenges facing an organization, and I think it's important to have transparency and communication. And so how you plan and how you implement is key to whether it'll be successful or not. I think what's critical in crisis management is that the board can be reactive, so that if anything comes up, which always there will be issues that come up, it's important that senior management is able to feel comfortable enough to come to the board chair with the issues, and that there's transparency and clear communication.